"The cancer's aggressive," the doctor said, but I only heard the next sentence. "You have 6 weeks, maybe 7. I nodded like I understood, like I had somewhere better to be. I walked out without shaking her hand. Outside, the city didn't stop for me. Cars passed, horns blared. People laughed into their phones. Somewhere, someone was in love. Somewhere, someone was cheating. Somewhere, someone was probably dying. But no one cared that Jimmy had 6 weeks left. I sat on the hospital bench, opened my phone, and typed her name, Janet. My thumb hovered over the screen. Her contact photo stared back, smiling in that smug, camera-ready way she always had. The kind of smile that used to soften me, the kind that now made my stomach twist. She left me 7 months ago. No warning, just a cold message on a Monday morning. "I need space, please don't text me again." And I didn't. I respected the silence. I held back even when her posts popped up, her selfies, her luxury getaways, her new guy, Michael. He was in 2 photos before she changed her settings. The next second, I pressed delete contact. Then I went deeper. WhatsApp, cleared, gallery, wiped, archived folders, erased. Janet's voice notes, where she'd once called me her everything, gone. The video of her dancing barefoot in our old apartment, wearing my hoodie and holding a wine glass, deleted. The saved messages I used to replay like lullabies after we broke up, all of them, gone. I even deleted the playlist titled JJ Forever. That was day 1. I didn't cry. When I got home, I pulled out the cardboard box buried in the closet. Inside, the scarf Janet left behind, the necklace she forgot on the windowsill, the letter she wrote on our first anniversary that said, "You're my home." I tossed it all into a trash bag. The hoodie she always stole from me, I burned it in the balcony ashtray. It smelled like her. I didn't want to give my lungs the chance to remember her scent when they'd barely last the month. The neighbors stared. I didn't care. Later that night, Clara called. She didn't ask how the results went. She knew. Her voice was quiet. "Do you want me to come over, Jimmy?" "No, not today." She paused. "Then I'll just stay on the phone, okay?" I didn't respond. But I didn't hang up either. She stayed on the line, breathing quietly, while I lay on the floor in a dark room, surrounded by the absence of Janet. When morning came, I walked to the pharmacy. Not for medicine, there was none left worth taking. I bought a USB instead. I copied the few things that mattered: photos of my parents, a video of me and Clara dancing on my 28th birthday, one email from an old professor who said I had promise. Not a single bite of Janet made it. That evening, Michael called me. Yes, that Michael. "Hey man," he said. His voice was smug, like he thought this was a casual catch-up. "I heard about the diagnosis." "From who?" He didn't answer. Probably Janet. He hesitated. "I just wanted to say, no hard feelings, right? Things didn't work out between you two. But she's happy now." I didn't answer. The silence made him nervous. "Jimmy?" I smiled coldly. "Tell Janet I deleted her from my life before the cancer had the chance to do it for me." Then I hung up. At 3:04 a.m., Clara texted. "I couldn't sleep. Are you okay?" I replied. "I deleted Janet today." She waited a moment, then sent. "Good. That's one less thing trying to kill you." For the first time in weeks, I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was finally over. When I was younger, I thought pain had a shape. I imagined it as a jagged black rock lodged behind my ribs, solid, sharp, unbearable. But the day Janet walked out, and the day the doctor told me my expiration date, I realized pain was something else. It's soft, familiar, like a song you used to love until it made you sick. Like a name that once made your stomach flutter, until it made you want to tear your skin off. My name is Jimmy Hale, and I'm 29 years old. I was supposed to be dead by 30. They said the cancer started slowly, somewhere deep, a place they don't scan unless you complain, and I didn't complain, not when I should have, not even when Janet noticed. "You're always tired," she said once, curling up on the couch beside me in that apartment we shared. "Maybe see a doctor." "I'm fine," I said. I wasn't. But when you love someone like I loved Janet, you don't want to waste time in clinics, you want to make pancakes on Sundays, you want to spend your paycheck on matching mugs and overpriced candles and stupid memory jars she'll forget to fill. Back then, I thought Janet was the kind of woman who would stay. She had a laugh that cracked in the middle, like she was about to say something sarcastic but changed her mind. Her hair always smelled like peaches, her eyeliner always sharp, she was chaos wrapped in perfume and soft hoodies. I met her at a company networking event. She spilled wine on my lap, laughed it off, and gave Venmo her $20 for emotional damage. I fell in love before I even changed pants. The first 2 years were golden. We built something, inside jokes, routines, weekend rituals. She'd sit on the counter while I cooked. I'd hold her hand in grocery aisles just because I could. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours. And then it stopped being ours. It started when her texts slowed down. Then she started sleeping with her back to me. One morning I noticed she'd removed my name from her bio. She didn't cry when she left, didn't even pack properly, just whispered, "I need to feel alive again," and closed the door behind her like she'd forgotten I was dying inside. Now I am, literally. I didn't tell Clara right away about the diagnosis. She wasn't part of my past with Janet, she came after, softly, quietly, like a door I didn't realize had always been open. We met at group therapy, 2 years after Janet left. I wasn't there for closure, I was there for silence. Clara spoke only when she had something worth saying, which wasn't often, but when she did, people listened. She wore threadbare sweaters and carried a thermos of black coffee like it was holy. Her eyes had that washed-out kind of sadness, the kind that makes you think she'd been grieving since birth. I liked her instantly, but not in the way I liked Janet. With Janet, it was fire and noise and butterflies. With Clara, it was warm, steady and slow. She started showing up at my apartment uninvited, first with soup, then with books, then with yarn. "I'm crocheting now," she'd said once, holding up something vaguely bunny-shaped. "It helps me feel useful." She never asked to stay, she just did. She never asked me to talk, she just sat. We never kissed, never touched, never even said what we were. But when the doctor said 6 weeks, and I stumbled out of the hospital like a man who'd misplaced his soul, Clara was the one who caught me. She didn't cry, she just took my hand. "We'll take it one day at a time," she whispered. I nodded, but in my head, I was already deleting everything. Then there's Michael. Janet's new guy. He's the kind of man who wears suits like second skin and smiles with perfect teeth he probably paid $5,000 for. He met Janet at some branding summit 2 months after she left me. I saw their first post together by accident. Someone tagged her. She wore the same dress I bought her for our 3rd anniversary. I thought I was going to be sick. The second post came a week later. New chapters start with the right co-author. His hand rested on her waist. People asked me how I felt. I said, fine. I wasn't. Michael tried to talk to me once. Said he wanted to clear the air. Said Janet felt guilty, but not responsible. Said she needed someone who could match her energy, her ambition, her life. And I was too still. But here's what Michael never understood. Stillness isn't weakness. Sometimes, stillness is the only way you survive the storm. The night after I deleted Janet's photos, I opened my journal. It was leather-bound, barely filled. I flipped to the last used page, back when I still thought my life had arcs left to write. And I wrote. Day 2. Clara made soup. I didn't ask for it, but I ate the whole thing. Day 2. Janet's voice still echoes in the corners of this apartment. I bought new curtains, blue, not gray. She hated blue. Day 2. Michael doesn't matter. I closed the journal. And for the first time, I didn't feel like I was lying to myself. Clara asked to move in on day 3, not with words. She just arrived with a larger thermos, a folded blanket and an extra toothbrush. She put the blanket on the couch and didn't ask which side I preferred. She brewed tea, left half a cup in the fridge for when I'd inevitably forget to hydrate. She reorganized my medicine cabinet, labeling the bottles I was avoiding. And she sat on the floor beside me with a deck of cards and said, "Your turn." So I played. Until the room blurred from laughter. Until the pain dulled enough to forget the clock ticking behind my ribs. By day 5, I started writing letters. Not to Janet, to myself. One per day. Folded, sealed, slipped into a shoebox Clara decorated with stickers and sarcasm. "You're not allowed to die without reading these," she said. "Pretty sure that's exactly what happens," I joked. "Then read them early." I didn't, not yet. But I wrote. Michael messaged again on day 7. He said Janet wanted to reach out, she didn't know how. I replied, "Tell her not to." He said, "She's sorry." I wrote back, "I'm not," then blocked him. That night, Clara made me cinnamon rice pudding. I didn't know I liked it, but I asked for seconds. And after I fell asleep, she stayed in the chair beside me, hand wrapped around mine, whispering something I didn't hear but still somehow understood. On day 10, I found the voicemail. Not because I was looking for it, but because my phone auto-recovered it during a software update. It was from Janet, dated 2 weeks before she left. "Jimmy, I don't know how to say this, I love you, I really do, but sometimes I feel like I'm the only one still trying. You're so quiet lately, I'm so tired, you don't even look at me the same. I want to help, but you won't let me. If you're sick, just tell me, if you're not, then maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm not enough to keep you interested anymore." The message ended with a sniffle. And for a second, everything I had buried snapped open again, because I remembered that day. I was exhausted, couldn't hold food down. I came home late from a scan I didn't tell her about. She was curled up on the couch waiting, face hopeful, eyes tired. I said I wasn't hungry. She cried after I went to bed. I didn't ask why. I thought, if I pretended hard enough, the pain would go away on its own, and she'd stay long enough for me to get better. Turns out, she left because she thought I was already gone. I didn't tell Clara about the voicemail, not immediately. Instead, I sat with it. Let it fester under my skin. Let it churn quietly like poison. I didn't have the strength to throw up. I started noticing Clara's presence more, the way she folded my socks, the way she always checked the fridge before leaving, just to make sure I'd eaten. And I started asking myself a question I didn't. Was I doing to Clara what I once did to Janet? Was I letting someone build a life around me, while I silently planned my exit? Day 12 brought another kind of storm. I woke to find Clara scrubbing my bathroom sink, humming to herself. Her cardigan sleeves were pushed up. There was a smear of toothpaste foam on her cheek. I watched her for a moment, thinking, this is love, isn't it? And then she saw me. "Good morning," she said, smiling. The sink was driving me crazy. I nodded. "You don't have to do all this." "I know," she replied. "I want to." Later, as she chopped vegetables in the kitchen, she glanced at my phone and said, "Michael called last night." I froze. "How do you know?" She wiped her hands, leaned against the counter. "I saw his name on the lock screen. You didn't delete the call log." I didn't know what to say. She kept going. "I'm not mad, just curious. Did Janet reach out again?" I shook my head. "No, it was just him, saying she felt bad." "Do you believe her?" "I don't know." Clara didn't respond. She just nodded and turned back to the cutting board. But I knew that silence. I'd heard it before. From Janet. That evening, I found a small box on the coffee table. It was the same color as Clara's scarf, forest green, soft and worn. Inside were a pair of socks, hand-knitted, slightly uneven. One had my initials stitched into the side. There was a note folded beside them, "For your cold feet, and colder silences." I stared at it for a long time. Then I walked to the balcony and lit a cigarette I hadn't touched since my diagnosis, and just stood there. Day 14, Clara didn't show up. No text, no call. I waited, told myself she probably had errands, or needed space, or just forgot her phone. By sunset, I was pacing. By midnight, I was staring at the door like it owed me something. By dawn, I was checking every app she used, nothing. Finally, around noon, she messaged, "I'm okay, I just needed a breather, back soon." I didn't reply. Because something about the word breather made me think of Janet again. How she used that same word right before she left. Day 15, Michael sent a voice note. I shouldn't have listened, I know that now. but I did. Hey Jimmy, I know you probably hate me, and honestly, I don't blame you, but Janet's not doing great. She found out from Clara about cancer. She's been spiraling. She wanted to reach out. She still does, but she doesn't want to make it harder for you. Just thought you should know. I paused the message halfway through. I didn't need to hear more. Clara told her. When Clara came back that night, I didn't say anything at first, just sat on the couch, hands tight around a tea mug I hadn't touched. She placed her keys down softly. I brought dumplings, your favorite. I looked at her. Why'd you tell Janet? Clara flinched, just slightly. I didn't mean to. It slipped out. You slipped out my death sentence? She asked how you were doing. I didn't realize you hadn't told her. I laughed, not because it was funny. You thought I'd what? Text her and say, hey, surprise, I'm dying? Clara set the food down, slowly. Jimmy, I thought maybe part of you still cared. That's the problem, Clara, you thought. She went silent again. That same silence that always followed disappointment. I hated it, because it meant I had just made her into another Janet. We didn't speak for the rest of the night. She slept on the couch. I stared at the ceiling until my chest ached, not from cancer this time, but from the weight of everything I refused to let myself feel. Day 16. Clara was gone when I woke up. Her scarf was still on the coat hook, but the thermos was gone. So was the green box. I checked the drawer where she kept her spare charger. Empty. She didn't leave a note. She didn't need to. Michael texted again. I ignored it. Janet called once. I watched. The screen light up, watched it until it dimmed again. I didn't answer. Because even though my heart wanted to hear her voice, my body remembered what it felt like when she walked away without looking back. I opened the freezer, found her favorite mango ice cream still sitting there, unopened. Beside it, a tray of soup Clara had labeled in marker, for when you miss someone who didn't deserve you. I didn't eat either. That evening, I found the green box again, outside my door, same socks, same note, but this time, there was something else inside. A photo. It was of me and Clara, mid-laugh, during one of our late-night card games. My eyes were crinkled, her head was tipped back. We looked happy. She'd written something on the back. Even if you erase her, you can't erase what you never let yourself feel. I dropped to the floor. And for the first time since the diagnosis, I cried. Not for Janet, not for Clara. But for Jimmy. The man who didn't know how to hold on to what he had. Until the cancer reminded him he couldn't. The hardest part of dying isn't the pain, it's the silence. Not the kind that fills a room, but the kind that seeps under your skin when the people you thought would stay, don't. When the memories you swore would heal you begin to rot. When everything you used to believe about love, about permanence, becomes something you're afraid to say out loud. It's been 4 days since Clara left. Her scarf still hangs where she left it, a ghost of warmth I refuse to move. I tell myself she'll come back for it, but the part of me that still believes in good endings is shrinking by the hour. I try to distract myself, reorganize shelves, delete old files, count how many pills I've got left. None of it works. Time passes too slowly when you're waiting for something you can't name. I picked up my journal. Day 20, I think I deserve to be forgotten. Maybe that's why I deleted her first. Day 20, the socks still smell like her shampoo. Day 20, Clara, if you're reading this, did you know you're the only person who never tried to fix me? Janet messaged again. This time, no voice note, no photo, just words. I found the voicemail I left you, the one you never answered. I was scared back then, Jimmy. You were slipping away, and I didn't know how to hold on to you. Maybe I should have asked louder. Maybe you should have told me, I'm sorry. I don't reply, not because I'm angry, but because I don't know what sorry is supposed to fix. Mick. Hale calls twice more, then stops. I imagine him pacing their kitchen, phone in hand, debating if he should push harder. I wonder if Janet stares at the door, the way I stare at the scarf. Maybe we're both still waiting for people who already walked out. Clara's absence becomes a character in the apartment. She's the reason I noticed the dust piling on the bookshelf. She's the one who would have reminded me to eat before my stomach started burning. She's the one who would have smiled when I finally finished that damn book she recommended and realized I actually liked it. I dream of her voice. It never says anything, just lingers. On day 22, I collapsed. Literally. My legs give out in the kitchen, somewhere between standing and remembering. The floor rushes up like punishment. For a moment, I can't breathe. I don't call for help. Instead, I lie there staring at the ceiling fan, thinking, maybe this is it. Maybe it's easier this way. Maybe no one needs to come back. But then my phone vibrates beside me. It's Clara. Did you water the bonsai, or are you killing another plant behind my back? It's such a stupid question. I laugh until I choke. Then I crawl toward the sink, pour water into the little blue pot she gave me on day 4. It's the only green thing left in this place, I replied. I forgot, sorry. Her text comes instantly. Liar. Day 24, I go outside, not far, just to the little bench down the street where Clara once told me she believed in soulmates, but not forever. She said soulmates were the people who taught you the most, not the ones who stayed. She didn't look at me when she said it. Maybe she already knew. I see a couple across the street, arguing, loud, theatrical. The girl throws a cup, the guy shouts something about betrayal. I watch, not because I care, but because it reminds me of Janet. How she'd slam doors just to feel heard. How I used to whisper apologies I didn't mean just to make it stop. With Clara, there were no slammed doors, just exits wrapped in silence. That night, I dug out the shoebox. Her notes are still there, so are mine. I open one at random. Day 9, she caught me looking at her hands today. She laughed and said, "They're just hands, but they're not, they're home." I gripped the edge of the paper. I didn't know how much I needed someone until I met Clara. I didn't know how lonely I had been even when Janet was still in my bed. On day 25, I will try to write again, but the words don't come, so I paint instead. Clara once said I should try. You've got a lot inside you, Jimmy. Maybe it wants color. I laughed at her then. But now I dip a brush in blue, then gray, then a little red, just enough to make something bruised but alive. It's messy, abstract, kind of awful. But when I'm done, I hang it beside the scarf. It feels like proof I existed. That evening, I got a letter. Not a text, not an email, a real letter. The envelope is soft pink, the handwriting slightly crooked. Clara. Inside. I miss the version of me I became when I was around you. I'm scared, Jimmy, of loving someone I might lose, of losing someone I might love too late. But then I realized, you're not just dying, you're living too, you're still here. And if you'll have me, I want to be here with you, not as a nurse, not as a habit, as someone who sees the end coming and chooses to love anyway. If this is a countdown, then I want to spend every second beside you. There's a bus ticket inside the envelope. It's due tomorrow. To my city. Day 26, I clean the apartment, I make soup, her kind, tea. He won with ginger and mushrooms and too much garlic. I lit the candle, she said smelled like spring. I fold the scarf. I pull the painting off the wall, then pin her letter beside it instead. And I wait. This time, not out of fear, but because maybe, for once, someone's coming back. Day 27. The soup had gone cold by the time the doorbell rang. I nearly dropped the bowl when I stood too fast. My knees shook, not from the illness, not from weakness, but from something close to hope. I opened the door expecting Clara. It wasn't her, it was Janet. She looked smaller than I remembered, less perfect. Her makeup smudged, her eyes tired, her hair tied back in a way she used to do only when she was falling apart. "Hi," she whispered. I said nothing. She held up a tote bag. "I brought you orange juice and soup. I didn't know if you'd want to see me." "You're 4 days late," I muttered. She blinked. "What?" "Clara," she wrote, "she's coming back today." The way her face fell, it was like I'd stabbed her. "She's not," she said quietly. "What?" Janet stepped inside without waiting for permission. Jimmy, she's not coming. She's not getting off any bus. She was supposed to. I shut the door slowly. What are you talking about? She called me 2 days ago. I picked up because I thought she might have been you. I almost didn't answer, but I did. I stayed still. She said she wasn't sure if she should come, that she was scared, that she'd hurt you by telling me, and maybe she didn't deserve another chance. She said she wanted to come back. She did. But... Janet's voice cracked. But I told her not to. For a second, I thought the room tilted. Not from the disease, not from fatigue. From rage. You what? She took a shaky breath. I told her she'd be doing more harm than good. Maybe what you needed wasn't more people circling your hospital bed. Maybe you wanted peace, and space, and closure. Who told you that I wanted closure, Janet? My voice was low, sharp. Who gave you the right to speak for me? I was trying to protect you. No, you were trying to stay the hero in a story you walked out of 7 months ago. I came back. You shouldn't have. Her mouth opened, then closed. She looked down at her shoes. She's not answering my texts anymore, I said after a long pause. Janet said nothing. She blocked me, didn't she? She said she needed to think. I turned away, my fingers curled into fists so tight they shook. I should have told her to come anyway, Janet said. But I didn't, because I was scared too. Scared of what? If she came back, I'd lose you all over again. I laughed, bitter, hollow. You already did. She placed the tote bag on the counter like it mattered. Why did you really come here, Janet? She looked up slowly. Because I realized I never scared you to forgive me. I don't. She nodded. I know. The door closed behind her with a click that felt too final. Day 28. I didn't leave the apartment. I sat by the window, hoping maybe Clara didn't listen. Maybe Janet was wrong. Maybe she'd show up anyway, eyes puffy, suitcase in hand. She didn't. I texted her again. Please, just let me explain. No reply. I sent a photo of the soup. You left your recipe here. I didn't burn it. Still nothing. The green box was still in the closet. I brought it out again, thinking maybe if I held it long enough, she'd feel it somehow. But paper and yarn don't carry magic, just memories. Michael texted. Of all people. I didn't know Janet did that. I'm sorry, man, that's not okay. I stared at the message. Then blocked him. Day 29. I called the hospital. Are there any experimental trials, anything new? The nurse on the other end hesitated. You said no to those last month. I'm changing my mind. Why now? Because I had nothing else to lose. Clara finally replied. 3 days of silence, just one message. I asked her to tell you. I told her I wasn't strong enough to explain it myself. And she used that to erase you, I wrote back. Maybe I let her. I froze. Then. You still can come back. A pause. Then. I don't know if I deserve to. I stared at her words until my battery died. Then I sat there in the dark, wondering if maybe I'd been wrong about everything. Maybe it wasn't Janet who'd left me first. Maybe I'd been pushing everyone away since the diagnosis. And maybe, just maybe, Clara wasn't the one running. Maybe I was. Day 30. I opened the journal again. Day 30. It's strange, I deleted her on day 1, and now I'm the one who feels erased. Day 30. Janet tried to undo the past, Clara tried to hide from it. I just wanted to survive long enough to make something worth remembering. Day 30. I think I finally understand why goodbyes hurt more when they're quiet. In the evening, a package arrived, no sender name. Inside was a small canvas, the painting I'd made, the bruised one, the one I hung beside Clara's scarf. But now it was different. She'd added to it. New strokes, soft lines, pale green weaving through my reds and blues. Her initials, CM, painted small in the bottom corner. Taped to the back was a sticky note. If you're still painting, maybe you're not done living. Day 31. The painting sat on my lap, like proof that Clara hadn't disappeared completely. That some part of her still saw me. Maybe she still wanted to. But it wasn't a promise, it wasn't her. It was hope in brushstrokes, and hope is dangerous when you've been trying to prepare yourself to die. I held it for hours. Then I called the hospital again. This time, I asked to speak to the clinical trial coordinator directly. There was a wait list, long odds, a million disclaimers about side effects and no guarantees, but I said yes to all of it. They asked for my emergency contact. I paused. For the first time in weeks, I didn't write Clara's name, I wrote mine. Day 32. I cleaned the apartment again, not for anyone, not because I was expecting visitors, just because. Say I didn't want to leave behind a mess. The bonsai was still alive. I'd forgotten to water it again, but it looked stubborn, like it wanted to prove something. I knew how that felt. I touched the painting one last time before wrapping it in paper and leaving it in the hallway outside my door with a note. For whoever needs to remember that bruised doesn't mean broken. Then I walked out. The hospital was colder than I remembered. The fluorescent lights made everything feel less real, like I'd stepped onto a stage I hadn't rehearsed for. A nurse walked me through the intake. She didn't smile, she didn't pretend. Maybe she didn't know how to look at someone who'd come back from already saying goodbye. "You'll have to stay overnight after the first dose," she said. I nodded. Fine. As she handed me the gown, she paused. "Is there someone we should call in case?" "No." She nodded slowly. "All right." Day 33. The treatment started, and with it, the pain returned, not the quiet ache that lingered in my ribs since the diagnosis. But something raw, deep, like my body was at war with itself. The nurses monitored everything, beeping machines, blinking lights, charts, but they didn't monitor what I saw when I closed my eyes. Janet's face when she said she was scared. Michael's voice, apologizing on her behalf. Clara's painting, green strokes cutting through blue and red like veins carrying life back into something dead. And above it all, my own voice, whispering into a void, "Come back, please." Day 34. They discharged me. Said I'd responded better than expected, that my blood work looked promising, that it was too soon to say anything definite, but still, a flicker, a chance. I walked out into the sunlight and immediately wanted to cry, because I wasn't ready. Not to stay, not without her. Back at the apartment, the hallway was empty, the painting was gone, no note, no message, just gone. I sank to the floor, laughing to myself, because that's what grief does, it makes you laugh at things that aren't funny. I'd been handed a maybe, a potential extension, a window cracked open, but she was still gone, and I was still alone. Day 35. I walked to the flower shop Clara once dragged me into during a thunderstorm. She'd pointed at a bundle of dying daisies and said, "Even these deserve a second chance." I never asked why she bought them, or why she smiled when they bloomed 2 days later on my windowsill. I stood outside the shop now, unsure if I was remembering something real or something my heart had rewritten to survive her absence. I went inside, bought the same daisies, carried them home like they meant something. That night, my phone buzzed, unknown number, just a single message, the window's open. No name, no context. But I knew, Clara. I didn't hesitate. Her apartment was 3 train stops away. My legs weren't strong, but I made it. The hallway outside her place smelled like paint thinner and curry. I stood there, hand hovering near the door, until I finally knocked. It didn't take long. She opened it. She looked tired, but not sad. Her eyes scanned my face, stopping just above my eyebrows, as if counting the days etched into my skin. "I didn't think you'd come," she said quietly. "I didn't think you'd leave." We stood like that, 2 ghosts trying to learn how to breathe again. "I shouldn't have listened to her," Clara whispered. "I shouldn't have deleted you," I said back. Silence. Then she stepped aside. "Come in." Her apartment looked the same, messy, warm, soft. Her scarf was on the couch, the green box was beside a pile of yarn, and on the windowsill, the painting. I looked at her. "You kept it?" She nodded. "Did it feel right throwing away something you bled into?" "I thought I'd never see it again." I thought I'd never see you again, she said, voice cracking. And then I said it. I got into the trial. She froze. What? Treatment started 2 days ago. They said it looks promising. Her hand flew to her mouth. Jimmy. But I didn't put you down as my emergency contact, I added. Why not? Because I didn't think you'd want to be there when I tried to live. Her eyes welled up. I was scared, Jimmy. You were dying, and I couldn't fix it. I thought maybe stepping back would hurt less than watching you fade. You weren't supposed to fix it, I whispered. Then what was I supposed to do? Stay. She broke. Tears streamed down her face as she closed the space between us. I didn't think I was enough. You were the only thing that felt real. She touched my face. You deleted her, but you didn't delete the hurt. I didn't want to delete you too. Then don't, she whispered, not again. We stood there, wrapped in silence. Until I pulled her close and said the one thing I hadn't said to anyone since the diagnosis. I want to live. She held me tighter. Then let's start. Day 36. I moved Clara's painting above my bed. She laughed when she saw it. It feels like a shrine to yourself. I shrugged. Someone's gotta remember me. I think I can handle that. She stayed over that night. We didn't touch, didn't kiss. We just lay side by side in the dark, her hand wrapped around mine, our pulses syncing like maybe, somehow, this wasn't the end anymore. Day 39. Janet texted again. I heard about the trial, I'm happy for you, truly. Then a second message. I saw the painting, it's all over my feed, Clara shared it. The caption said, to the man who taught me that healing is louder than silence. I read it twice, then blocked her number, not out of spite, but because healing meant no more back doors, no more maybe messages, no more late-night relapses into memories that didn't deserve resurrection. Janet got to walk out of my life once. I wasn't going to give her another chance to stand at the door again. Day 41. Michael sent an email, not a message, not a call. An email. Subject line, business proposal. I nearly deleted it without opening it, but curiosity has a cruel rhythm. Jimmy, this is strictly professional. Our agency is looking to publish a creative memoir series. One of our interns mentioned your journal entries. Apparently Clara showed her a few. We want to buy the rights. Full publication deal. You'd be anonymous, but the story would be out there. The world should hear it. I laughed so hard I dropped my phone. Clara walked in with 2 mugs of tea. What's funny? I passed her the screen. She raised an eyebrow. You gonna do it? I looked her in the eye. Only if I write the ending myself. Day 44. The Boot. K sold in 6 hours. The publisher begged for a title that screamed pain, regret, drama. But I had other plans. I titled it, Day 1, I Deleted Her. The editor fought me, said it was too short, too quiet, not viral enough. I didn't change it, because that day wasn't about revenge, it was about rebirth. Day 47. The press found out. Janet called twice, left voicemails. So the story was about me? You made me look like the villain. Jimmy, I didn't deserve that. I didn't respond. Because she was wrong. She did deserve it. Not because she left, but because she came back when it was convenient, because she thought regret gave her the right to rewrite the past. You don't get to show up after the fire's out and call yourself the water. Clara found the letters, the ones I never gave her. 1 per day, tucked into the green box beside her yarn. She read them all in silence. Some made her laugh, others made her cry. The last one said, Day 30, if I don't make it, remember that it wasn't the cancer that broke me, it was the fear of loving someone I couldn't promise forever to, but if I'm still here, if you're reading this while I'm breathing beside you, then know this, you were the reason I wanted more time. She kissed my forehead, then whispered, You're getting it. Day 50. The agency asked for a second book. A continuation, something that explored the fallout, the fame, the romance. I declined. Telling them one story was enough. Let the world imagine the rest. Let them wonder if I lived, or if I just left on my own terms. But I did write something else. A letter. Sealed in an envelope. Hand-delivered. To Janet. Inside. You were the lesson, not the ending. You taught me what silence sounds like when it leaves scars. What love looks like when it's performative. You gave me pain, and that pain gave me purpose. So thank you, you were my day one, but Clara is every day after. No signature, no return address, just closure. Day 60. The publisher hosted a launch gala, full of influencers, executives, book critics pretending to cry for the cameras. I wore black, Clara wore green. People asked for pictures, asked if I'd sign copies, if I'd confirm the rumors. I just smiled. Said the truth was already on the page. Janet showed up halfway through. Alone. Her makeup flawless, smile tight. She approached, clutching her copy of the book like it weighed more than her pride. It's a beautiful story, she said. Thank you. You didn't say I was the villain. No, I replied, you just read yourself that way. Her eyes flinched. Then Clara walked over, looped her arm around mine, and leaned in. Let's go home. We walked out together. And I didn't look back. Day 90. The trial continued. They said I might get a year. Maybe more, maybe not. But every morning Clara kissed my shoulder and whispered, "We got today." That was enough. We made lists, silly ones, places to visit, foods to try, people to ignore. At the top of mine, live louder than the things that tried to kill me. I wrote a final entry in my journal, not dated, not titled, just a single line. The revenge wasn't deleting her, it was becoming someone even she couldn't forget.